You're not tired because you work too much. You're tired because something keeps draining you, quietly, constantly, without permission. It's not one big thing, it's small ones, stacked, ignored, normalized. A conversation that always leaves you hollow, a scroll that turns into hours, a thought you never silence, a habit you never question. Not dramatic, not explosive, just constant leak. And you wonder why you feel heavy before the day even starts. The Stoics never saw energy as just physical. To them, energy was the will to act, to choose, to endure, to stay centered when the world spins, and they guarded it like it was life itself. Because it is, not your muscles, not your appearance, not your motivation, but your energy is what moves everything. And when that goes, everything follows. And yet, you keep handing it out to people who never refill it, to problems that don't belong to you, to apps that feed you nothing but anxiety in high resolution. You keep saying it's fine, you keep adapting, you keep enduring things that were never meant to be endured. Until what? Until you burn out in silence? Until you forget what alive even feels like? Until you become so drained that numb becomes your baseline. There is a cost to every yes, to every reply, to every moment of overexposure. The question is, are you paying it for something that actually matters? Most people don't collapse because of one event. They collapse because they ignored 50 small leaks for 500 days straight. So look closer, not at what exhausts you, but at what eats you. When no one's watching, not the loud explosions, the silent sips, the conversation that feels polite but empties you, the habit that feels harmless but steals your morning, the thought that feels familiar but cracks your focus. Energy doesn't just disappear. It doesn't vanish. It leaks from your boundaries, from your attention, from your toleration of things that have no place inside your life anymore. So if you want to feel alive again, start there. Start with the leaks. Start with the small things you stopped noticing. The ones that took your fire, not by force, but by patience. Plug them, cut them, close them, and you'll see it was never about doing more. It was always about doing less of what steals you, silently, repeatedly, until there's nothing left but noise. It's not them, it's you. Saying yes when everything in you says leave. It's not the weight, it's the way you carry it. Like you're supposed to. Like it's noble, like it's kind, like it makes you stronger to stay in places that slowly undo you. You tolerate too much and call it patience. You absorb too much and call it empathy. You shrink, you nod. You let the noise keep talking while your energy bleeds out bit by bit. The Stoics never called that strength. They called it leakage. They called it illusion. They called it the slow death of your own boundaries. Because what you allow becomes what you are. You keep the wrong people close because they need you. But who shows up when you start slipping? You keep solving problems that were never yours, just so everything feels calm. But calm at what cost? Your time, your fire, your focus? You want your energy back? Then stop carrying things that aren't yours. Stop being available for chaos that isn't your fault. Stop answering messages that drain your spine. Stop over-explaining your limits to people who only test them. Being kind doesn't mean being empty. Being loyal doesn't mean being used. Being strong doesn't mean you have to prove it by suffering in silence. The moment you say, "That's enough," is the moment your energy stops leaking. It's not selfish, it's survival. Let them call you distant, let them call you cold, let them call you changed. They're right, you changed. The second you realized that being everything for everyone was the fastest way to lose yourself. So go ahead, draw the line, leave the group chat, let the call ring out, don't reply. Let them feel the space where your exhaustion used to live, because what you tolerate will define your energy. And when you stop tolerating, you start returning to yourself, to silence, to strength, not loud, not explained, just felt. You want it right, precise, clean, correct. You want no mistakes, no cracks, no mess. But what you don't see is this: perfection is a drain. It doesn't come with applause. It comes with pressure, with tension, with a constant whisper. You're still not there. You rewrite, re-edit, replay the same thought until your brain is numb but never satisfied. And then you crash. Not because you're weak, but because you spent every drop of energy trying to be something that doesn't even exist. The Stoics never worshipped perfection. They worshipped progress. They honored effort. They respected what was real, even when it was flawed. Because real life is raw, uneven, messy, alive. Perfection kills that. Slowly, quietly, with a smile that says, "You're close," but never lets you arrive. You think holding high standards protects you, but sometimes it cages you. You don't move. Because the step isn't perfect, you don't speak. Because the sentence isn't polished, you don't rest. Because rest feels like weakness, when your bar is always above human. But you're not a machine. You're not a brand. You're not a project to be completed. You're a person, allowed to be wrong, allowed to miss, allowed to try without nailing it. Perfection doesn't give you peace, it takes it. And when your energy is always fighting to meet an impossible standard, you burn, inside, while looking shiny on the outside. So drop the image, drop the loop, drop the lie, that being flawless means you're finally enough. You already were, even in the chaos, even in the mess. Not perfect, but present. And presence, that's where your energy lives. Not in control, but in being real. You scroll, you swipe, you tap, you check something real quick, then look up and it's been an hour. You don't feel better. You feel scattered, split, buzzing, uncentered, and you think it's fine, normal, just part of the day. But it's not. It's noise. And that noise, it doesn't stay outside, it moves in. The Stoics protected their inner space. They didn't just avoid distraction, they defended attention, like it was breath. Because it is. When your world is loud, your thoughts don't speak. They shout. You lose the signal. You lose the instinct. You lose yourself. Inside a loop of artificial urgency, compare, click, consume, repeat, and suddenly you're exhausted without ever having moved. Noise doesn't always sound like chaos. Sometimes it sounds like everything, all at once. Voices, posts, opinions, notifications, reminders of what you're not doing, what you're not achieving, what you're supposed to be. And it gets in, not all at once, but drip by drip, until you forget what stillness sounds like. And when you forget that, you forget how to return to it. So ask yourself, how much of your fatigue is physical? And how much of it is the weight of carrying 1,000 conversations you never chose to have? Silence is not empty, it's yours. It's where your focus breathes, where your strength reloads, where your clarity waits. So turn it off. Not forever, just long enough to find your center again. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to watch it all. You don't need to be online to be awake. The noise outside becomes the noise inside, unless you learn to close the gate. And you must, because what fills your mind shapes your energy. And right now, you need both. You wake up late, rush, skip, forget, catch up, and you think, this is just how life is. But it's not. It's how chaos becomes your rhythm, how disorder becomes your default, how burnout becomes your baseline. It's not just messy, it's draining. Every misplaced thing, every undone task, every tab left open, every piece of clutter is a decision delayed. And delayed decisions pull power from your mind. From your focus, from your fire. The Stoics lived in simple structure. They owned less, they needed less, they moved with intention, not as a trend, but as a weapon, against the noise of life. Because order is fuel. It doesn't just make life neater, it makes the mind capable of choosing, of creating, of showing up without feeling like everything is fighting back. You think you need more motivation. What you really need is less friction. Not a better planner. A cleaner desk. Not a perfect schedule, just one that lets you breathe. You need sleep that matters, not screens at 2 a.m. You need to stop trying to do everything, all at once. Because multitasking isn't mastery, it's leakage. Every open loop costs you. Every delayed action steals from you, and the chaos that surrounds you becomes a climate you think is normal, but it's not. It's theft. It's slow erosion of sharpness, of clarity. So build structure. Not to impress, not to feel in control, but to stop the bleeding. A quiet routine, a reset night, a moment with no phone, a place for things to go, and a place for your mind to return. Order isn't a flex, it's protection against the world's chaos and your own. Because if you don't make space, nothing new can grow. And if you don't protect that space, nothing real will last. They don't need to break you. They just need to distract you. They don't need to attack. Just keep you busy, keep you tired, keep you overcommitted, overstimulated, under-rested. And then you wonder why your fire is gone. But it's not gone, it's just buried. Under noise, under people, under expectations you never chose, but still carry. Your energy is your lifeline, not your schedule, not your image, not your results. It's what allows you to rise, to focus, to feel. And without it, you become a version of yourself that no longer recognizes the mirror. The Stoics protected their energy like warriors, not with walls, but with wisdom. They knew what to touch, what to let pass, what to let go. They didn't fight every noise. They just refused to let it in. And now it's your turn to stop giving away your power for things that don't grow you, to stop checking in on people who drain you, to stop chasing perfection when presence is what you really need. Guard your energy, not in fear, in clarity, not because you're fragile, but because you're finite. You don't get it back by wishing, only by choosing. So from now on, let no be holy. Let silence be your reset. Let peace be your standard, not your reward. Because when the energy is gone, it's not just your mood that breaks. It's your patience, your depth, your discernment, your center. You are not a battery to be drained and recharged. You are a flame, a force, a direction. And if you don't guard that fire, don't be surprised when everything feels cold. Protect it. Fiercely, daily, quietly. Because the people who glow, they don't have more energy. They just stopped letting the world take it.